VSP is back again. Wow. I had an interesting one yesterday, let me tell you. Facebook. There was a guy on Facebook, and people were arguing back and forth about, their preferred DAC chip. I was like, oh yeah, I'll read this. Because actually, I want to see how many people prefer AKM chips to Sabre chips. And never mind that. I mean, what about the chips that no one talks about? Like the Burr Brown, or any of the other Texas Instrument stuff. I once thought that the NAD C700 would sound better than the WIIM Ultra. And the truth is if it does, it's so marginal I can't really tell. Why? Well, it's got the same DAC chip. Maybe it has a better reclocker. It's considerably older. I mean, I don't even think the Weem has a reclocker. That's why I did that SMSL trick with it, which seems to work pretty interesting, especially when you first start it. Now, when you play it for a long period of time, it just disappears in your ears, disappears in your mind, really. And it's funny because it looks like my computer is kind of having a moment. Oh, no, it's not. It's good. So anyway, this guy comes on and he says, I don't give a fuck what DAC chip you use. I don't care. Blah, blah, blah this, blah, blah, blah that, blah, blah, blah this. They all sound the same. So I asked him, I said, because I didn't want to start a fight. I just wanted to ask him a question. And I said, so you're telling me that the AKM chip, the DAC chip, Burr Brown, the Sabre DAC, which I believe all of the ESS chips are called Sabre DACs, because even the Pioneer that sits in front of me, the Pioneer that sits, not 20 meters from me, the Pioneer that sits above me upstairs, or not the Pioneer, the Onkyo, all have like a 9013 or a 9016 ESS chip. Now, I'm assuming that's a Sabre DAC. But he just said they all sound the same. And I just was asking him these questions. And I said, never mind the chip. What about the R2R? How does the R2R, that isn't really a chip, compare to these things? Well, I think I was the first person that actually asked him a question that probably had to make him think a little bit. And he responded very well. He really did. He says, yeah, these are some really good questions. And blah, 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 blah. He answered it. And I mean, it was just words to me at that point. And I really, really didn't feel like getting into an argument on Facebook with, possibly somebody who knew something I didn't, or possibly somebody who was just clearly opinionated, which is basically me, in a sense. And in my opinion, all DACs sound different. But I think all DACs sound different because they were implemented properly or improperly. Or, like you got that 40, I can't remember. The AKM does a double chip one. And, old guy hi-fi, he's like, oh my God, it's just such brilliant sound. And to be honest with you, I am going to trust that guy. Now, do I want to spend $600 to $800 Canadian dollars to get that DAC chip? Well, that doesn't even really put me in the audiophile category, because I think the audiophile category is probably somewhere around, $2,000. maybe higher on a DAC, like a Denafrips or something like that. And I'll be honest with you, I've been so skeptical with regards to DAC chips for so long that $2,000 could be very well spent somewhere other than a DAC chip. Considering that most of the products I have decent DAC chips. Now, I've complained about the Saber DAC being a little bit too sibilant with horn speakers. Well, the truth is, every one of us has an amplifier where you can just turn the treble down. Just turn the treble down a little bit. And that seems to, fix things. I almost feel like finding the thread again because I'm a little bit more energetic today, let's say. It is very early. It's probably 6:30 a.m. This is kind of my free time on a Sunday, so I just kind of whatever make a video because I was thinking about it. And, when you can't get something out of your head and you continue to think about it, well, you might as well discuss it with somebody. And let's just face it, when I say DAC in front of 90% of the people I know, they don't know what I'm talking about. So talking to people about stereo equipment, which I use as an analogy lots and lots and lots of times, like I'll use it right now, actually, as a matter of fact. I believe that China is approaching the old Japan. What I mean by that is there's how many billions of people in China that are not buying American products to listen to? Well, there are the super rich that probably have a Macintosh and probably have a Corel or a Griffin or something just spectacular. But I mean, they're rich. And if you go to Exponent, which I have never done that, and I've been to CES a couple times, but that's not like Exponent. Well, maybe it is. I've never been to Exponent, so whatever. I've been to CES a couple of times. I've been to the World of Concrete. I've been to like all kinds of different places. And CES was just absolutely overwhelming. But it was, more directed towards the television, the, the speakers, I never really caught. And to be honest with you, when I was at CES, that was over 15 years ago. And understanding a DAC chip the way... And I don't clearly understand the DAC chip, don't get me wrong. I understand computer chips and processors and different things and what I should be looking for when I'm buying a computer because I've gone through, I don't know, if I had all the computers back that I've used in business for the last 30 years, I would have a stack of computers that exceeds, my laptops, that exceeds my audio equipment. Because computers, if you didn't buy the right one, if you didn't buy a good one, if you didn't buy, I'm an Asus guy now because I just seem to think that they just last longer. And I buy a gaming computer so that I can have four screens. And these things are loaded with processors and loaded with chips. But a DAC chip doesn't make a difference, according to this guy. So my question was, and I've touched on this briefly, well, not briefly, but I've touched on it before. So you're okay with Orthophone Red for the rest of your life? Or Orthophone, Red for the rest of your life when listening to vinyl? And I think that the response would be, why would I listen to vinyl? That's what I'm thinking. Just because to predict the future, just look at the past. And I think this guy is living in the future, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you don't like vinyl, you don't like vinyl. Vinyl is the beginning, Actually, that's not true. Churches, cathedrals, just around a campfire was the original of sound. Back in long before I was ever born. But the truth is, okay, it's just a question. Do all DAC chips sound the same? would you agree with this person's statement? Or would you just say, okay, and then 5 minutes later ask them a question and then get a pretty reasonable answer that was really not answering anything, but well written? Like, touche for you. You're clearly educated in some degree. You speak well, you write well. And I'm not hacking this guy. I mean, he has his own opinions, just like I do, just like almost all the reviewers do, until it comes to measuring equipment. And the truth is I don't think I'll ever measure equipment. It either sounds good or it don't. And it's funny because a speaker that doesn't sound good on a certain amplifier sounds fucking great on a different amplifier. It's bizarre to me, you know? Like, there is a vintage resurgence for a reason. Some of these things make speakers sound absolutely incredible. And I don't know, man. It's one of those things where, you know, like, I've never been comfortable with the term audiophile. I've just never been comfortable with that term. Like, do I listen to my gear? Yes, sometimes I do. Other times I just enjoy the shit out of it. When I'm watching an AVR and a TV show or YouTube or whatever, I mean, I know I have the best stuff that I can afford. End of story. And some of it exceeds some of the expectations of more expensive things, simply because I'm a research guy. What kind of amps were used in this, you know, power amp, country of origin, that really actually doesn't matter anymore. The RZ50 was reviewed by 15 different guys, and it's outstanding, and it's made in Malaysia. So, country of origin? I mean, come on. Like, there's so much technology on this planet right now. I don't know. I think the proper implementation of the DAC is 100% important. I think the proper weight, the proper skate, the proper tone arm level is crucial to, and I just love that word, critical listening. I have not ever critically listened to anything. I just notice different things. And if that's critical, well, that's stupid. Anyway, I was just blown away on Facebook, and I thought I'd mention it. And you guys have a good day.